am Charlie and back, and I own way too many video games. I've always wanted a special place to store all these games. Somewhere to feel it's my special place for gaming. And now I have it.
A game room is a popular phenomenon where you can store all of your games on a shelf and look at them and never play them. That's what a game room is. The concept of a game room comes from the idea of a man cave. Yeah, I'm not a fan of those. Having weird beer signs everywhere, having a pool table you never use, it's always something I saw my friends have. Some were basements, some were in a garage. Granted, the ones in garages were always covered in AFL posters and sports related stuff, and I don't know if you've seen me, but I don't really like that type of stuff that much, so the idea of having one of those always disgusted me. But a game room? One that's just a normal room that allows anyone in with a sign at the front telling people that there is gaming in process? Now that's what I want. I used to watch YouTube videos that would tour through game rooms, and just collections as a whole. I used to watch this guy called Sonic Toast who went through his Mario Toys collection. No, I never asked why collection was in the title twice, and I always wanted to have a collection like that and be greeted as a citizen every time I watch a video. Collecting has been in my blood forever, whether it be Mario toys, Toy Story toys, video games, pop figures, movies, TV shows, and more, and slowly over my years of existing, I've started to get every single thing I've ever wanted. Whether that be every movie and show in the MCU, buying the 2010's Mario series of toys, buying a Luigi toy made by Marvel, yes that Marvel, buying a big Luigi, and more. But I always had nowhere to display any of these things. They were just scattered around the house. And it didn't help that for the DS and the Wii, I always had pirated copies of the games instead of owning some of the biggest games ever. If you're wondering, I owned Wii Sports, Big Beach Sports, Big Family Games, Wii Fit Plus, Super Mario All-Stars, and Shaun White Snowboarding for some reason. But for all the other consoles, I owned the games. I traded in some games once and got Blinky in return, but I just wanted my own room for gaming. I started with this when I moved a lot of my consoles next to my computer desk in a room on a massive shelf that looked like it was 2 seconds away from falling over, alongside my games on my shelf. I started to buy my own games at this point too, buying the Wii games I love to play, buying GameCube games for the first time so I can finally legally play them. See? I own Resident Evil 0. I love Resident Evil. But eventually I decided that maybe storing my consoles on a collapsing shelf was maybe not the best idea, so I shoved my TV into a little cupboard alongside the consoles. This idea worked for quite a while, but plugging in these consoles was always the hardest thing I've ever done. The amount of sweat that was pouring off of me was insane when doing the move, so I decided to just leave it. I never really played some of the consoles I had due to some of them not working correctly. I never played my PS3 because the controller never charged.
And it still doesn't!
And I didn't have the games I always wanted to play. But then I got more money, so I bought more games. So many games. I kept running out of room on the shelf for putting the games on, but I made room. I bought more and more consoles until I finally moved my consoles to another side of the room, put a couch there, and went to Japan and bought 3 Wii U's.
I'm insane. I know.
Look, having all of these games available for me to play has always been my dream, and hell, I'm still missing about 90% of the GameCube games that I want, but being able to store everything all in one room is one of the greatest things I've ever done. But I feel like I'm getting to the point where I have everything I want, and everything I don't have yet, I have other ways of playing those games, legally or not. I always have things in my mind that I want, like a Chinese Nintendo Switch. I know I'm weird, but I don't really want any other consoles. I have everything I want. This is my dream. And I finally have it. Yeah, I want more. So much more. After playing through a lot of the games in my backlog, such as Persona 5 Strikers, I realized that I probably like Persona and now need all the games. Playing Metroid Prime? Maybe I should get Metroid for the Famicom Disk System.
Yeah, this isn't Metroid. What the f***?
There's a whole list of things I want now. I mean, hell, look at my collection of Mega Drive games. The only ones I've played are Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. I should probably play the others at some point. I'm so close to getting everything I want, and the Atari 2600 Plus was a good start with that. What is the Atari 2600 Plus? A console released by Atari in 2023 that can play 2600, 7800, and new games. Now I don't have to buy either console. I'm all about ease. That's one of the things I take pride in this room. I have 50 fire hazards lying in a cube, making it really easy for me to play each console I own. So buying consoles that can play multiple consoles games on it would be a genius idea. Things like the Retron consoles or other similar things. If I play a retro game, despite the fact that I own the real thing, I play on the Nintendo Switch because I know that it's easier to play a game on the Nintendo Switch because the controller isn't wired. I also have these switcher things set up so I can switch between HDMI plugs and AV plugs, with all me needing to do is press a button and switch between the two. I've I've pretty much made the laziest game room ever created, and I love the thing, damn it. Having a game room has always been my dream, and now I have exactly what I want, but I can start to see that if I own everything I want, I'm gonna get bored. Do I even want these games? Is there a reason why I've never played over 50% of these? I think I just like the thrill of buying these games and displaying these games instead of actually playing them.
Speaking of which...
I display my games in my game room in a specific way. A very weird way, but it's what works for me. I have 4 sections of my collection. Generations 5 and up, PC games, Generations 4 and down, and portable games. Generations 5 and up starts with the Nintendo Switch, followed by the Wii U, Wii, then GameCube, then PS5, PS4, PS3, PS2, then Xbox Series X, Xbox One, Xbox 360, then Xbox. I always have a pattern that I follow. Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. PC games are by themselves because there's nowhere else to put them, and other consoles kinda just go on the end. Generations 4 and down has the Nintendo 64, the SNES, the NES with the Super Famicom, Famicom Disk System, and Famicom mixed in. PlayStation, Mega Drive, Atari 2600. I really don't know where to store the Atari games because all of these are technically for the Atari 2600 Plus, and although they work on a homegrown Atari 2600, they released in 2023. Especially Mr. Run and Jump, which is kinda a port of a game, Mr. Run and Jump, available on all modern platforms, including the Atari VCS, which I bet you didn't know existed. But it's a thing. Everything is up to you, which is especially helpful when you put Japanese games in. I always split my games up by region. It first goes with PAL, then NTSC, then NTSC-J, which is Japan. When we go over to my portable games, you'll see my 23 Japanese DS games that I bought in a lot, so now I have 3 copies of Tomodachi Collection just in case of emergencies. But then we get to the Game Boy games. I bought these custom cases for those games. They're quite good for being able to see what games you own from afar, as normally I forget what Game Boy games I own. But remember that Japan trip I spoke about? Most of these Game Boy games are Japanese games that I bought for about 300 yen, which I don't know if you know, is nothing. These games were Super Mario Advance 4 and 2, Super Mario Bros, Yoshi's Universal Gravitation, and Yoshi's crap, I bought the wrong custom game case. These custom game cases I got from Custom Game Cases.
Creative name!
And these are a lifesaver for a very small problem that almost no one has. The only official Game Boy game I own in the box is Rayman 3, so these are very helpful for me. I was thinking about getting them for other cartridge games, and I think for the Nintendo 64 and SNES it might be a good idea, but they're big enough cartridges, I think. All of these things lead to the perfect game room. It's what I want. I love having posters of Mario games in this random guy. Everything is just perfect for me.
But you can always change something. I'm taking suggestions on what I should add to this room, so then we can all sit down and play Mario Party. But now I just need friends.